the less the quarreling they had in year 1 and 2, the more the problems they faced in the future. Why? Anybody?
It could be a communication gap.
Okay. How?
Maybe
What was the fighting was a communication gap, or how is communication?
no, maybe one person was being patient.
I like your point. I don't think it's clear enough. I think there's a communication gap. You can either elaborate more, or if anybody understands where she's going, can somebody add more?
Yes, I think they are trying to be patient, whether they will cope with the situation for the first 1 year.
Good. And then what happened?
And when they see they cannot cope, everybody find their way.
Good. Very good.
The first speaker was telling us something about swallowing poison. We should know, even though I made a point, because the kind of society we live in is such that they will tell you, so you go with that mindset, but nobody tells you that there's a limit to that patience.
Good.
So you don't want anybody to hear that you're having issues. You try to, even if you speak, maybe the other person may not get you, but you still resort to being patient so that they don't hear you, and then you save the marriage.
Very good. If my sister here was to insult me, say we work in the same place, I know how are you, kaza kaza, and she works here, whatever, you know, honorable relationship. But, well, you are very stupid for that day. Hey, you just tell me, what did I do wrong? Why do you have to add the word stupid? Nai hakuri. I'll be patient. 2 days later, we are in one meeting, another insult. 3 days later, another meeting, insult. I can continue to do hakuri. Okay? But what's going on inside me? Is what is outside the same as what is inside? No. And don't get deceived by the hakuri means everything is okay. No, it's actually getting worse inside. Why? Because after a while, hey, you see this sister. Before I wouldn't talk to anybody about it. Hey, I'm still doing hakuri, but I've started talking to somebody. Why am I now talking? I wasn't talking before. Because it is growing inside me, just like poison. It's becoming a problem. Don't be deceived by the hakuri that nothing is going on. Mumu, yai hakuri, or tai hakuri. It's, you know, they are patient. No, something is changing inside. After a while, I don't want to meet them. When they are talking, I keep quiet. Any contribution, I will not say anything that will make this one want to comment about. Somebody wants to talk about Rwanda data. Just lakum dinokum waliya din type of thing, you know. And let her do her own, leave me alone. So what happens during year 1 and 2 is hakuri. But now we just got married yesterday. Now how can we start fighting already? That's a bad sign. So everybody keeps quiet. She will keep quiet. Hakuri. And your mother. Never heard my mother do. I'll keep quiet. Next time, my mother again. After a while, my father is joining. On the surface, hakuri is going on. But inside, poison is growing. I never spoke to anybody about it. Now my friends know. Then gradually my brother knows. So what they noticed is on year 1 and 2, where there was nearly no conflict. It is true. Anybody observing would say happy marriage. But what was going on inside? Bitterness was building up. Resentment was building up. Disrespect was building up. Resentment, bile, anger, inside. On the outside, it's hakuri to hakuri. Hakuri. It's like when a snake is smiling at you. Yeah. Ask yourself, if you see two people fighting, can you say whether there is respect or disrespect by the way they fight? Can you?
Yes.
Yes. Malam Abdurrahman Gidi, we can disagree on something and we will argue. But you will see then, Haba Malam, how do you still use the word Malam? Even if he's going to refer, but Malam Nuru, you can see in the language being used. We disagree, but there's a respectful way of disagreement where I am able to tell him the truth, he is able to tell me the truth, we preserve respect, and I actually appreciate that he continued to speak and didn't say, no, he spoke, I understood, I realized I was wrong. Maybe I realized I was wrong then and there, but my ego made it difficult for me to apologize then and there. It's when he goes, but then later, I realized, hey, I was very wrong, man. In fact, I should have just listened to him. That discussion that took 1 hour, we are arguing. If I just allowed him to land, we would have resolved it in about 10 minutes. So what they noticed about these marriages was those marriages that were peaceful, in quote, hakuri, swallow, in the first 2 to 3 years, no conflict, no argument. That was actually period of growth in resentment. The poison was increasing. By the time they got to year 4 and 5, 3 and 4, enough was enough. Enough was enough. They had had it. So what happened? By the time she has decided, I will talk to him. By the time they decide, let's go to marriage counselor. When they start explaining their problem, you see the marriage counselor sweating. There are some somebody, Mala Nuru Wallahi, we have some small problem with my wife, we want to discuss. Anybody who you couldn't solve it with you, I have to talk to you, might know, it's not small. So I said, okay, let me hear your side. He will explain his own side. Okay, do you mind my speaking to your wife? No problem. Hear her side. That's when you realize, happy. These people need time. But if they are not ready to change themselves, by the time they come to raise the issues, there's so much resentment, so much hatred, so much disrespect, that the issue is no more the issue. It is how they are talking that is the issue. The moment you see how some people are going to be arguing with each other, you know, whatever it is you want to solve, you are going to solve it. You started with, this stupid woman. What is the problem you want to solve that you think you will solve when you have started with that stupid? But why are they using that language? Because the respect has already been lost. It's been lost during that Hakuri period. There was another thing. When they had a problem, when those marriages were having problem in year 1 and 2, one small problem, let's resolve it. We will fight, we will argue. I'm not saying fight, beating, whatever. No. Just like they say, when you say suna fada, it doesn't mean they are physically fighting. When they were arguing, even the neighbor could hear them shouting, kaza, 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 tunda safi, kaza, kaza, whatever. One small issue is what they are fighting over. But they've resolved it. So it didn't become poison. It didn't join anything. Why? It was done, it was over. Another small one came, they did it, but every time they had a quarrel, it was an opportunity for him to understand what hurts her and how much it hurts her. Every time you have a quarrel with your husband, it's an opportunity for him to understand how much it hurts you. But it's an opportunity for you to understand. It's communication. And it is usually the most sincere form of communication. If you have to write that one down, do Allah write it down? Yeah. Quarreling is sometimes the most sincere form of communication. That's usually when, ba kunya ba whatever, I will say how I really feel. That is the opportunity to really know the person you're living with when they are angry. You get to know the real person. But the person who is saying, ba damwa, nothing to worry about, and I hakuri, I've swallowed it, you really don't know what they are going through. How can you continue to live with somebody who you don't really know? And then what happens by year 4, 5, 6, whenever? Wallahi, she has changed. She wasn't like that before. She used to be hakuri now. She will say the same thing. Or sometimes, when you had a problem, you quickly brought it out. So she got to understand you very well. When you brought a problem and you were discussing, you would lose your temper, and she got scared. So she kept quiet. Or you interpreted her responding to you as disrespect. You're talking to me like that? She keeps quiet. Small thing that she does you didn't like, tsawa, you went and reported, and you know how the families can behave, ko? One small thing, they will come with cannon as if they want to kill you. Unfortunately, because of insufficient openness, very often it was done for the sake of the family, for the sake of the marriage, for the sake of the children. That was the initial intention, which is good. But unfortunately, it's very often misguided. It's very often misguided. So what they found was that those marriages that were more open, they were more expressive, made it clearer how they were really feeling. It was when she was crying as she was talking that for the first time he understood how much it hurts her. Tears are a form of communication. Tears are the sweat of the heart. Tears, if you joke with tears, you know what they call crocodile tears, ko? Those fake ones. Yeah, you create problem in communication because then he doesn't. But you were told everybody has their own conflict management style, ko? Everybody with their own fighting style. With some people, I know generally for me, if you start raising your voice too much, I start to shut down. Whatever I'm going to say, I will take note. When you calm down, we will meet again. We will address it all. Is it I don't have time for too much wahala, but that is my style. Somebody else's style is when they are in the mood, they will say it, whatever you get to know. That's actually for brothers one of the importances of the premenstrual stress or menstrual stress that women go through. You'll say they are being irrational during that period. Some of them. Swing mood, whatever. But sometimes it is in those mood swings that she will say things under the other circumstances she wouldn't have said. Yeah. She may exaggerate it, but just look for the truth. Because what you want is to understand what the other person is going through. And if they are hiding something, please remember poison. It's not good. I'd like you to ask yourself, how many of you are married? Put the hands up. How many of you are married? Okay. Looks like half. How many of you are not married? Okay, so it's approximately 50-50. How many of you are married again, please? Just want to see how many tables have married people. All this line. Poor people. Okay. All right. And then all these lines are married. Okay. Just to know how to do some division. There are those things that people differ in, but which you don't like. For example, this person has this way of managing anger, and I have a different way of managing anger. If they had my style, that would be easier. It's different, it's not a defect. I want you to underline that. Difference is not automatically a defect, it's just different.